Welcome once again, guys. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to In My Toolbox, your weekly talk show on your personal finance here at PHLV Radio. Of course, the goal in this show is to give you financial information that you will be able to use on your day-to-day financial decisions. We will unbox topics that would hopefully aid you and guide you and even add to your financial tools. We will tackle important information mostly not taught in school, but so much needed to empower you financially. And of course, as usual, mga kaibigan, in any idea that will transpire in this show, always consult po with your financial advisors, insurance professionals, or even tax consultant. Again, guys, my name is Enrico Pobre. I'm your host here in my toolbox. I'm a sales, marketing, and trader, an economist, an entrepreneur, and of course, a financial professional as well. Ngayong gabi po mga kaibigan, pag-uusapan natin, very basic lang muna tayo. You know, in mga nakarang episodes, what we were doing is we were talking to experts on certain topics. But right now, we're gonna change it a little bit. We're gonna be talking about Financial 101. Iba naman, ano? Financial 101. Ano po ibig sabihin nito? You know, babalik lang tayo sa basics. We're gonna be talking about what we need to understand on finance. Yung mga tools para mapalaki natin yung pera natin. The tools that we need to use that's very important to understand, you know, in growing our wealth. You know? So, that's the topic today. So, Financial 101 po tayo. Okay. So, ano ba itong dapat natin i-take into consideration first para mapag-usapan natin yung Financial 101 na maayos? Okay. Let's talk about this one. Increasing financial challenges. You know, ano ba ibig sabihin ng increasing financial challenges? Ito yung talagang problema natin araw-araw. Meron po tayong sinurvey. Hindi tayo, no? Kinuha lang natin itong information na to kay Mr. Google. Ito. Alright, ganito lang yan. Meron tayong sinurvey 100 na tao. Sabi ng mga 100 na tao na yun, out of those 100 people, 21%, okay? 21%, ang challenges nila sa financials nila is healthcare cost. Sabi nila, healthcare cost is too high. Totoo ba yun? What do you think, guys? You know, 21%. Sinasabing napakataas daw po ng cost ng healthcare. Pag-iisipin mo nga naman, ano, when you look at it on the perspective of, oh, I have my health insurance, or I have my Medicare. These are the things that we already spoke about the last time. But still, healthcare is costly. So, 21% po yan. Okay? Another thing, 13% daw out of that 100, hindi raw sila makaalis sa utang. They cannot get out of debt. So, what do you think about that too? Think about your personal financial situation at the moment. Are those two things true to your situation? So, nahihirapan daw po sila to get out of debt. May tanong ko nga dito, sino ba walang utang dito? Sige, taas ng kamay. Alright? So, I think that's actually so true. Hindi lang siguro dapat to 13%. But just for this conversation, 13% of people cannot get out of debt. Okay? So, 12% naman daw, they lack money dahil maliit ang sweldo, low wages. So, when you look at it, of course, this depends on what state are you in, or, you know, what's the cost of living where you're at today. Pero again, the lack of money is, of course, a financial challenge. Hindi lang siguro dapat to 12%. Ano? Sino po dito sa grupo natin ngayong gabi who doesn't have any financial challenges because they're only getting low wages? Pero 12% po yun. Another thing, 12% daw po, ang kanilang financial challenge is high college expenses. Despite the fact that we actually have a what you call student loans available, okay, still high college expenses is another financial challenges that we are facing today. 11% naman is cost of renting a home. It's either owning a home or renting a home. Yun ang kanilang financial challenge. Kayo ba? Do you have that financial challenge as well? Okay? And another thing, 10%, high cost of living. Sus, mataas daw ang gastos, you know? Mataas ang gastos, high cost of living. And of course, we have to take into consideration inflation. And that's what's happening today po, no? Today, right now, you know, 2022, we were hit so bad and we're still in it, or what you call the inflation. That's the problem today. Nakita niyo yun naman po, no? What are your expenses today when you look at it? Of course, that's already an effect of inflation. So high cost of living and inflation is an increasing financial challenge daw po, sabi ng 100 amongst those 100 people that was surveyed. 7%, they're having a hard time naman po putting into a retirement planning or retirement savings. You have to ask yourself, just while listening to me right now, guys, how much is your retirement money today? Or are you saving for retirement right now, or are you able to save retirement today? Otherwise, if you are not in the position to put a retirement savings, for your future, I think that's a good thing to understand too, that hindi po kayo nag-iisa. 7% of this 100 people, they find it challenging to put up a retirement savings. 6% naman daw po is too much taxes. Again, at this stage, this day, 2022, we are having a hard time coping up with inflation. Now taxes comes in. I think this is a very valid reason, right? Of course, 4% unemployment and loss of job. Oh no, my God, probably this number is not really applicable now, especially the time that, of course, yung pre-pandemic, probably that's the number. Then 2 years we were hit by pandemic. I don't think that's only 4% right now. It should be more, right? But nonetheless, out of 100 people po na survey, 4% says that the financial challenge that they're going into right now or going through right now is unemployment or loss of job. And another thing is 4% lack of emergency savings. Well, we have to understand naman po kasi, guys, what an emergency savings. Most people right now doesn't even, number one, they don't probably understand what emergency saving is all about. Number two, if ever they understand it, do they have the means of putting money aside for emergency? And number three, probably, saka na lang emergency savings pag dumating na yung emergency. Tama ba yan? Yun lang ibig sabihin nito. Pero out of those 100 people, those are the things that they're facing right now for their financial challenges. So yun po ang ibig sabihin nito, no? So ngayon naman, ang next natin pag-uusapan, saglit lang mga kaibigan, medyo meron tayong technical issue rito. Pero ang next natin pag-uusapan is yung headline ng story. Pinag-uusapan natin kanina yung survey ng 100 people. Eto naman, headline naman tayo ng story. Ano ba ibig sabihin nito? Yung headline ng story, can you imagine this, guys? 63% of American population are living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, ngayon, pag sinabing American population, kasama po tayo doon. 63%. Can you imagine that? 63% ng mga tao, they live paycheck to paycheck. Enrico, ano ba yung paycheck to paycheck? Ang ganda nga pakinggan ng paycheck to paycheck. Buti nga, may check to check. Dati kasi, pag may trabaho ka, tama lang, umabot yung pera ng paycheck mo today, up until to the next paycheck, tama lang yung pera. Paano yung pandemic? A lot of people lost their jobs, right? So, no check to no check yun. Problema yun. But just on this headline of the story, 63% of American population are living paycheck to paycheck. So, ibig sabihin, matalisod ka man ng konti dyan, ay wala na. We are in debt, and it can lead to a lot of debt. Another thing, the average American household has at least 3 credit cards. Wow, tatlo, no? And has nearly $15,945 in credit card debt. Ngayon nga, mga kaibigan, tignan nyo nga kung ilan ang inyong credit card dyan sa bulsa ninyo. How many credit cards do you guys have? I've seen actually people, this is no kidding, with those years of experience that I have in a financial business, I saw people, they even have about 15 credit cards. Now, what this thing is actually talking about right now, we have 3 average of everybody averages 3 credit cards, and then the amount of those 3 is about an average of $15,000. That's a lot of debt. So again, how many credit cards do you have? Paano ang asawa natin? Ilan din ang kanilang credit card? Oh my God, right? So I'm just telling you, it's not just probably you. And what I'm trying to say here is trying to give you the whole picture that this is what's happening. This is reality. Okay? 21% of Americans have no emergency savings. Ano ba tong emergency savings, Enrico? Probably you guys have heard of this emergency savings before. By the term or by how it actually is being said, by the word emergency, you have money put aside for emergency purposes. Usually kasi, pag kinakausap natin yung mga taong humihingi ng consultation with regard to their finances, we always tell them, you have to at least work on putting money aside at least 3 months ng iyong monthly income. Some, targets about 6 months, or some even targets about 9 or 12 months. Usually naman, ang practice lang is about 3 months. Anong ibig sabihin ng 3 months of emergency savings? If you have a salary of $5,000 every month, right? So ang emergency savings, at least 3 months, put it on aside. It may be an interest-bearing platform, or it may not be an interest-bearing, as long as that $15,000, which is 3 months of emergency savings, is put on the side that you can take it out anytime. Oh, Enrico, what's that emergency savings for? Madali naman sagutin yan. For the, again, going back to the word emergency, ano ba itong mga emergencies na to? Paano pag nawalan ka ng trabaho? Ganun ang ibig sabihin. So, ibig sabihin, kung if you're living off a $5,000 every month of an income, and then you lost your job, at least you got 3 months to find another job. That's what it means. That's why we need that 3 months savings. Or, for example naman, bakasyon. Pwede siguro natin gamitin ng bakasyon na. Meron din naman tayong vacation savings. But again, halimbawa, especially us guys, Filipinos, right? We tend to go home to the Philippines, and what if there's an emergency in the Philippines that we need to go home? You have money to pull from and then go to the Philippines. So these are the things that, what emergency savings can actually help you. When the tawag nga nila dito is when the rainy days daw comes, Ako naman, when the joyful days comes, But anyway, 21% daw po. 21% of Americans have no emergency savings. Okay? Now, 544,463, again, these are people, again, 544,463 declare bankruptcy every year. What? Bankruptcy every year? Guys, that's real numbers. Over 500,000 people declares bankruptcy every year. Mga kaibigan, hindi ito uso-uso lang. Huwag niyong gagayahin itong mga to, okay? At least kaya natin pinag-uusapan ng personal finance here in my toolbox for you guys to be aware. If you are actually, if you're one of them, that's okay. It's not really okay, but ibig ko lang sabihin, this is not an isolated case. 544,000 people are declaring bankruptcy. Well, if that's huge number, there must be something going on, right? So how do we need to address this one? That's why we're talking about it. Para we are not going to see ourselves into that situation. That's 500,000 people declaring bankruptcy every year. Again, I'm not telling you guys makiuso kayo. This is not just because you want to be in trending as well. No, hindi. What I'm trying to tell you, that's how much people declares bankruptcy. That's the reason why it's a headline of the story. 46% U.S. adults have no life insurance. Okay? And those who has 60 million Americans, okay, 60 million daw, meron daw silang life insurance, are all underinsured. So let me just explain it a little bit, okay? I'm a believer of a life insurance, guys. If there is one important financial tool that you all need to have, the very first thing that you need to have is what? Life insurance. That's your most basic financial tool, and it's very important. And the reason behind it, guys, is because especially if you are the head of the household, and then if you're the one earning, or you bring money into the table of the family and something happens to you, you have to find something that is going to replace your income. That's the reason why life insurance is there. Now look at this, guys. I always tell this to people: you insure your phone, you insure your car, you insure your house, but the thing that we always forget to do is to insure yourself, which is the most important asset there ever will be. Right? Kasi lalo na yung income, ikaw yung income earner, then something happens to you, what's to replace your income? Think about it. That's the reason why, guys, we're talking about, how many people here in the United States doesn't have life insurance? 46%. That's the reason why, guys, you have to understand the importance of life insurance. But we're not going to talk about that today. 60 million Americans naman, they may even have life insurance, but 60 million of these people, okay, are all underinsured. Kumbaga, kulang. So of course, a lot of people who are especially employed, of course, they get this group life insurance through their employment. That's okay. At least you have something. But of course, always remember, once you finish with once you get out of work, however is the reason behind it, they may fire you, terminate you, right? No. Hindi, biro lang. Pero again, at least, pag terminate ka, wala ka na rin siyempre trabaho, wala ka na life insurance. Or you retired already, you don't have any life insurance, get something outside of your work. Importante po yun. And then again, you have to know and understand how much is the adequate amount of life insurance that you will ever need. But we're not going to be diving into that too much today, but just to make you aware that that's the number. That's the reason why it's the headline of the story. 70% of Americans has less than $1,000 in savings, and 45% has no savings at all. Can you imagine that, guys? 70% ng mga Amerikano, kasama tayo doon, or part of it, has less than $1,000 in their savings. Can you check on your bank account right now, guys, or your savings account? How much do you have? Para tayong kumakanta ng Amazing Grace. Parang ganun, magbibilang tayo. Magkano ba savings natin? Ako, nagdasal na lang tayo. Teka lang, bakit wala tayong savings? Yun na ibig sabihin nito. 70% ng mga Americans, they have less than $1,000 in the savings. And ito na, Ave Maria naman, 45% has no savings at all. Wala tayong savings. Pag nadapa tayo dyan, patay. Kang bata ka, yun ang ibig sabihin nito, wala tayong savings, So, napakahirap. Again, I'm gonna tell you about a situation. What if we need to go back to the Philippines for a very, very important reason to go back there, and we don't have anything to pull from? That's really a problem, Again, reserve for something for, again, for the rainy days. Ang sabi nga natin, we have to put something on the side. But that's the numbers, guys. Hindi kayo nag-iisa. Marami rin. And again, there's a lot of reasons behind it, and that's the reason why we're going to be talking about Financial 101 today. Okay? 47% of Americans says cost of living is a threat to the future. Cost of living grew 14% in the last 3 years. Madali lang naman ibig sabihin nito, yung pera mo ngayon will not be able to buy the same amount next year. Ganun lang yon. Yung cost of living umaakyat. Pero kung ang cost of living is actually growing and your money is actually not growing, kahit na sabihin natin, it just stays there. If you're receiving $1,000 today, that $1,000 will never be able to buy the same $1,000 of anything next year. Of course, inflation din yon. And of course, aside from the inflation, the cost of living umaakyat din. And that's actually a huge problem. That's the reason why, guys, this is what you call headline of the story. Now, we may know the headline of the story, pero ang question dito is, what are we going to do? The answer here is very basic. Financial literacy. We have to understand what's going on around us. That's the reason why financial literacy, as we say, is the foundation of your relationship with your money. So this is something that's going to be very important and pertinent as you actually earn money. You have to be financially literate on what to do with this money, not only because you want to spend it. You have to also think of how to grow it. And it's going to be a lifelong journey of learning. Hindi po ito yung pagkagaling natin sa eskwela, marunong na po tayo mag-debit credit, o kaya titingnan lang natin yung checking account, may pumasok ba, itong gagastusin ko. Minsan nga, Hindi pa nga pumapasok na gastos na. No? Tapos minsan pa nga, wala pa nga pumapasok na pera, inubos na natin yung credit card natin. And akala natin yung credit card ay yung pera natin. No? So that's the reason why we have to know and understand what financial literacy is. Again, it's the foundation of your relationship with your money. Let me ask you this, guys. What's your relationship with your money? How do you treat your money? Yun ang pinaka-importante rito. Ang maganda nga rito when you know your relationship with your money, you know how to keep it, you know how to nurture it, you know how to grow it. And again, it's not just today, but it's a lifelong journey of learning. And the earlier you start, the better that you will be. Because education is the key to success when it comes to money. Yun lang yun. With the headline of the stories a while ago, and then of all the surveys that we did, the only answer there, guys, is financial literacy. Of course, guys, you may even tell me, Enrico, syempre, pag wala naman kaming pera, hindi naman, kahit anong literacy yung bigay natin dyan, hindi tayo makakapag-grow. I know, alam na natin yon. Of course, number one, you have to find a job, you have to find a source of income. Because kung wala kang source of income, what's to grow, right? Then again, dapat basic yun. Kung wala kang trabaho ngayon, hindi ko alam kung anong kinain mo, hindi ko alam saan ka natulog, di ba? Hindi ko alam kung anong damit mo. Ang ibig ko lang sabihin dito, once you start earning, now let's get ourselves become literate on finance. Yun lang ibig sabihin nito. So now, let me just show you some financial 101s. Yun ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon. Medyo katsaga-tsaga lang, hindi naman kasi ito na pag-aaralan basta-basta sa eskwelahan. You don't get this from school, You get this information from shows like this, or you just do a little bit of research, and there are books also available to do this. What, Enrico? Nung college nga ako, hindi ako nagbabasa ng libro. Alam na natin yan. But then again, importante kasi sa atin, we need to know and understand, because you're working hard for your money, you need to understand how to grow it as well, not just to spend it. It's easy to spend it. Pero think about this, guys. The moment that you earn that money, it was not easy. It's a hard-earned money. And you don't want to just splurge it just like that and gone the money is, right? So that's the reason why financial literacy is very important. Let me just tackle to you one basic concept. And I always think about this one, Ang tawag natin dito yung X-curve. I always think about this one every day. Believe it or not, guys. I always think about this one. Ang X-curve kasi, this is a concept, bali theory ito. What a person's responsibility sa pera, and of course, their responsibility in life as well. Okay? So, when you look at my presentation, there's this what you call, on the left side is what's happening to you today. On the right side, what's going to happen to you in the future, which is your retirement. Now, when you look at the blue arrow, ang sabi dyan is the law of decreasing responsibility. What does it mean? Today, whatever situation that you're in right now, especially for the young people, generally kasi, when you're younger, syempre galing school, you're still finding your way in, looking for a job or a better job, get a better career, what have you. We call it today, we are generally less secure. Hindi pa tayo secure kasi we're still what? Ito pa lang yung stage natin na we're looking for something's gonna be better for us or going to better us, So that's the reason why it's generally less secure. So ang ibig sabihin ng the law of decreasing responsibility, habang tumatanda tayo, dapat ang responsibility natin bumababa. Ganun ibig sabihin. Kasi ngayon, when you are younger, you're taking care of your family, you're finding the right company for you, the right job for you, the right business for you. Ito yung experimental stage, You're still looking for other options, the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. Ito yung mga ganyan. That's today, And the goal here is as you grow older, dapat yung responsibility ninyo bumababa. Bakit? Because when you grow older, this is the time that, your kids are finished in school, nabayaran mo na yung bahay mo, you paid off your car already, now you're starting to build your wealth, etc. That's the reason why you are able to do that, because responsibility is less. Okay? Now, yung orange arrow naman, when you look at it, that's what you call the law of building wealth. Today, because again, I told you, today, you're generally less secure, naghahanap pa lang, we're still looking for, the right avenue for creating wealth. So, wala pa. And then, because you're young as well, you're starting a family, etc. You started buying a house or a car, there's more responsibility today. So ngayon, the expenses is going to be high. You may be earning, but then again, as you grow older, the law of building wealth says that your money is going up because your responsibility is actually going down. So that's what it means by the X curve. So you have to understand this one, guys, that wherever you are today, you have to understand X curve, simply because when you grow older, the responsibility should actually go down. So you will have room of what? Building your wealth in the future. Ang galing, ano? So that's how you will be talking to yourself every day. Oh, ito, pero syempre, minsan kasi, we because we're Filipinos, the culture, the kids still stays with us. May apo ka na, they still stay with you. I understand that fact, guys. Hindi ko to dinidiscount. I'm not discounting this to whatever financial predicament that you have or financial story that you will have. But then again, in general, we have to understand the psychology behind the X curve. Again, it's what? The law of building wealth. As you grow old, you should be building your wealth. And as you grow older, the responsibility comes down. Very good ba? Yan ang tinatawag natin na X curve sa Financial 101. Ito naman, yung next topic naman natin, very easy naman. So, naalala niyo ba, alam mo kasi mga kaibigan, naalala ko sa Tugigaraw, taga Tugigaraw po kasi ako. Meron po tayo nung lalabas yung edad ko. Teka lang. Sige, basta, ganito. Alam mo, nung 1979, tanan! Ayan, bata pa ako noon, 7 years old ako doon. Kaya na gumawa ng math niyan. Okay. Nung 1979, akala mo, humahawak ako ng ganyan. Natatandaan niyo po, do you guys still remember yung the big 1 peso coin? Diba? Yung big 1 peso coin, Jose Rizal, yung gano'n, tapos nakalagay doon, 1970. Meron akong hawak na ganyan sa dalawang kamay ko, ganyan, Hawak ko dyan, 120 pieces yun na tagpipiso. Nasa harapan ko yung nanay ko. Hawak ko ng ganyan. Tapos nasa kaliwa ko, bagong bukas noon yung natatandaan niyo. Do you guys still remember Banco Filipino at the time? So I was holding my both hands like this, 120 pieces of that 1 peso coin. Right in front of me was my mom. And then I told my mom, hey, my mom, Mom, if I put this 120 peso in that bank, today, will it double tomorrow? Ang ganda ng idea, no? Ay sus ko, mga kapatid. Mga kap, this is the thing I'm gonna tell you. When we were younger, we were taught of putting money into the bank because the bank will allow to grow our money. Diba? If you want to make money, put it in the bank and it will grow. That's how we were brought up before. But think about it today. Will somebody tell you, hey, Enrico, if you want to grow your money, put it in the bank? Nobody's going to tell you that now, no? Because, in fact, what the bank only does for us is the convenience of putting money in and taking money out. As long as two things. Number one, as long as you know your money in the bank is safe. And number two, as long as what you call it liquid convenient. You can actually take the money in and out anytime that you want. And if ever that's your bank, you're good with it. But never will someone tell you today that you want to grow your money, put it in the bank. How much do you think is the interest rate in the bank right now? Find out. Just before I went to the show today, I was with a client. Can you imagine? She put $2 million in her account. This is what she said. I'm just relaying you the story that she gave me, and she was laughing. Enrico, I put $2 million into this account, and this bank just gave me $56 after 1 year. Can you imagine that 1 year, man? Right? So the reason why I'm talking to you about this, because the time that I was holding this 120 peso on my hands, and then I told my mom, if I put that in the bank, will it double tomorrow? That's the topic that I would want to talk to you about. Have you ever thought of how to compute, your money's growth when you put it into a certain platform? Oh, I don't know. Of course, wala naman sigurong tinuturong ganito sa school natin before. But actually, there is a way on how to do that. This is what you call the rule of 72. Okay? So the number 72 is going to be your tool to know, or for you to know when your money will double. Ang galing, So, if you invest your money into a certain platform, you already know when that money will double. Okay? So, ready na ba kayo? Kuha kayo ng get a pen and paper and calculator so you can actually do numbers with me. So, ang ibig lang sabihin ng rule of 72, if you divide 72 by the interest rate that you will get, you will get the number of years on how, when your money will double. Ganun lang siya kadali. Okay? So, kunin mo yung 72, you divide it by the interest rate, you will know the number of years your money to double. That's very easy. I'll give you an example, guys. Itong on the left side of your screen, when you look at that 1%, if a bank gives you, okay, if a bank gives you 1% interest, so you divide 72 by 1, your money will double in 72 years. That's what it means. Yun lang yan, di ba? Okay. So for example, 29 years old ka ngayon, you're 29 years old today, and then you have $10,000 and you put that money in the bank that will give you 1%. So in 72 years, which is by then you will be 101 years old, your $10,000 will now be $20,000. That's what it means. It means that you just put your money there and let it grow for 72 years. After 72 years, when you're 101 years old, that money will be $20,000 already. That's what it means. Okay? So again, punta tayo rito. If your banks, parang banks ng book. If your bank gives you 4% interest rate, so again, divide nyo po, kunin yung calculator ninyo, 72, okay, divided by 4, okay, equals, okay, 18. Ibig sabihin po nito, 18 years, every 18 years, magdodoble yung pera ninyo. Ay, napakaganda. Okay. So now, sino ba nagbibigay ng 4% ngayon? Bibigyan ko kayo ng tip mamaya dyan, ha? Anyway, for example po, naglagay tayo ng $10,000 today, 29 years old po kayo, and you are given 4% by your bank. So, after 18 years, which is when you become 47 years old, that $10,000 is now $20,000. Very good, right? Now, another 18 years after that, when you are 65 years old, that $10,000 is now $40,000. Yan pong ibig sabihin ng rule of 72. So, every 18 years, nagdodoble po yung pera niyo. So, kung 65 ka plus 18 years, 83 years old ka na, ang pera mo is $80,000 lang. So, doble lang ng doble every 18 years. If your bank will give you 4%. That's what it means. Okay, let's just get another interest rate here. Let's just say another platform gives you 6%. Again, ito na naman po, get your calculator. 72 divided by 6. Ang sagot po dyan, 12. So, ibig sabihin, every 12 years, magdodoble daw po yung pera ninyo. Again, 29 years old, $10,000. After 12 years, which is 41 years old, magiging $20,000. 53, naging 40. Now, after another 12 years, which is 65, that's $80,000. So, at 6%, your money will double every 12 years. Now, your money na $10,000 at the age of 65, that's $80,000. So, now you know the importance of learning this. Wag lang po tayo, let's not just go into a platform because a friend sold you a product. You have to be smarter than that. Nakikisama lang ako sa kaibigan ko. Can you imagine? Actually, that's so true. Meron akong isang kaibigan, guys. I was offering them a certain percentage. Nga lang, sabi niya, ang kaibigan ko kasi nag-close sa akin. Can you imagine 10 years ang growing term nung kanyang product? And they were only giving her about less than 3%. Can you imagine 3% in 10 years? That money, oh my God, you're not making so much on that platform pag 10 years at 3%. Versus, of course, if it's 10%. Now, do your numbers. Yun lang pong ibig sabihin. Now, If a person gives you 10% or a platform which will give you 10% interest rate, so you divide 72 by what? By 10%. Correct ka dyan, Kap. So ibig sabihin, the money will double every 7.2 years or 7 years. So at the age of 29 years old, $10,000 ka. At the age of 65, yung $10,000 mo naging 320. Now look at your graphs in front of you. The same amount of $10,000 at the age of 29, kita mo, ang 10% will give you 320, 6% is 80, 40, and 20, and so forth. Now, choose. You might be asking me, Enrico, what platform is gonna give me 10%? Yan naman tayo eh. Kailangan nyo ako kausapin. Meron ako niyan. Pero ang ibig ko lang, that's besides the point. Ang ibig ko lang sabihin, guys, not because, a friend or a relative, do your due diligence. Look for something else outside that you would want. You make sure that your money is gonna be working for you. Now, etong rule of 72 in growing money. Yan ang ibig sabihin nun. We can actually grow money. We understand how to double the money. Of course, very basic, mas mataas ang interest rate, mas maganda. Kaso, hindi naman kayo naghahanap ng mataas na interest rate. You're not doing your job. You're not giving a chance to your money to grow and work for you. Diba? So, nonetheless, that's besides the point. Ito, mas madaling intindihin. Okay? Doon naman tayo sa reverse of Rule of 72. May reverse of Rule 72 ka pang nalalaman, Enrico. Okay, this is what you call the reverse of Rule 72. What if you borrow money and they charge you interest rate? What? Oo nga, Paano nga pala yun? Ibig sabihin, ito naman, pag umutang ka ng $10,000 at sa isang bangko, ang interest rate nila sa iyo 6%. For example, meron ba 6%? Alam ko nga, credit card, 30%, 24%, Anyway, ang 6%, kung hindi mo siya binayaran ng 12 years, sobrang naman yan. Pero ang ibig ko lang sabihin, doble na utang mo at the age of 41, yung $10,000 mo naging 20 na. Yun ang ibig sabihin. I-reverse mo naman. Papaano, Enrico, pag ang interest rate ko sa credit card ko 30%, doon na tayo magkakaproblema. If you have 30%, again, you divide 72 by 30, ay doon na tayo. O ilan yon? Every 3 years ba ang tawag doon? No? O less than 3 years? Your money, your debt will double. Your mortgage is the same thing siguro naman, If your mortgage company gives you 6%, for example, ganun din. Gaano katagal, for example, 30 years mo siyang babayaran, you do the math, So, this is the reason why it's so important to understand Rule of 72. In fact, this is the reason why we're talking about Financial 101. You have to make sure that you have these tools to understand what platform you're gonna get into. Oh, Enrico, I have this mutual funds. Oh, Enrico, I have this annuity. Oh, Enrico, I have this CD, etc. But the question here is, do you understand, how your money is going to be working for you? That's the reason why, guys, Rule of 72 is the basic of the most basic financial tool that you will ever need to be able to understand, again, on how to grow your money. Mga kaibigan, mga kap, we're only talking about financial literacy here, okay? So I hope you learned something on this Rule of 72. From this show, you can always go back to the show anyway and start learning about Rule of 72. But I bet, there's going to be a lot of videos out there, in YouTube especially, with regard to Rule of 72. Learn it po, mga kaibigan, okay? So, again, these are just basic financial 101. I'm gonna tell you another story. Another strategy naman, or another financial tool. I call this the saving early story. Storya naman tayo. Ito naman, papakita ko sa inyo what good it will do to you if you save early. Kasi I've been in the industry for a long time, mga kaibigan. And being in this industry for a long time, I've seen a lot of people, nakasalumuha ako, maraming tao dyan, and they have different perspective of about money, basically, right? So some people will say, "Oh, I'm still young and I don't need to save money first because I'm still young. I still want to enjoy my youth," kumbaga, But this is actually a good story to tell, especially sa mga anak natin. We can share this story that the best thing or the best time to invest is when? Yesterday. Ganun naman talaga yan. The best time to invest was yesterday. You ask anybody like my age, I'm gonna tell you, should have known better. I should have started when I was 0 years old. Totoo yan. In fact, one of these days, I'm gonna show you, if you're just starting off a family o meron pa kayong bagong apo ngayon, I'm gonna show you how to make those $1 billion babies. So in fact, if you're able to do that, that's the greatest legacy that you will leave your family. But nonetheless, just going back to this story, mga kaibigan, saving early. So the story here, kwentuhan tayong konti. Si Mr. Start Early, for example, he is going to save $3,600 a year for 7 years with 8% tax-deferred account. Medyo pabayaan na natin yung mga technical words dito, guys. Ang ibig lang sabihin nito, si Mr. Early, maglalagay siya ng $3,600 na merong 8% interest rate for the next 7 years. That's just what it means, okay? Now, si Mr. Wait Longer naman, okay, he will save the same amount of money, $3,600 per year, for 17 years naman siya, na meron din parehong interest rate, 8%. So, when you look at the left side of your screen, si Mr. Start Early, at the age of 25, naglagay na siya ng 3,600 niya. Okay? So, naglagay siya ng 3,600 niya na merong 8% interest rate, pero 7 years lang siya. After 7 years, pagdating niya ng age 31, he will never put a single cent on that platform. Whatever platform it is. Basta, ang growth lang ang habol natin. So, tumigil na siya. At the age of 48 years old, okay, yung pera niya na $3,600 every year for 7 years, naging $128,000. So, in fact, guys, ang nilagay niya lang pera dyan, kaunti lang. 7 beses lang siya naglagay ng 3,600. That's all. Ang total nun is 25,200 lang. Pero yung 25,200 na investment niya, when he turned 48, naging 128,000. That's the story. Okay? Now, si Mr. Wait Longer naman, hindi siya naglagay ng for 7 years. 25 years old din siya. Naglagay lang siya dyan, nag-start siya ng 32 years old. From 32 to 48, 17 years yon, ang total amount na nilagay niya was 61,200. Pero yung 61,200 niya, pagdating niya ng 48, naging 131,000 lang. Now, look at this very carefully, guys. Kayo, dun sa left side, konti lang nilagay niya, 25,000. On the right side, naglagay siya ng 61,000. Pero ang return ni Mr. Early is over 100,000. Ang return ni Mr. Wait Longer was only 70,000. Question ko sa iyo, saan nyo gustong magsimula? Kay Mr. Start Early o kay Mr. Wait Longer? Ganun lang po ibig sabihin. While you are younger at this stage, start putting money, start building money. That's what you call the saving early. Guys, we do not have to convince ourselves this saving early story is wrong. This has been going on, this story has been going on for the longest time. And we are actually going out there and to instill in the minds of people that the earlier that you put money on the side for your savings, the better. Because number one, it will save you more money. Number two, you will use time to help you make your money work for you, and etc. So that's the story of Mr. Saving Early. Aba, maganda, no? Sus ko, kung bata lang ako, ay nako. Alam niyo na siguro edad ko. Ngayong show pa lang ito, nabulgar na edad ko. Ang ibig ko lang sabihin, guys, habang maaga, habang bata, mag-save na tayo. Pero Enrico, saan ko naman gagawin yun? Saan ko naman ilalagay yung mga platform na yon? That's the reason why I want to talk to you about, guys, how money grows. Okay? You have to understand too, when you want to grow your money, you want to also understand how or what are you going to use to make it grow. Diba? So of course, guys, there are two things, okay, that I always talk to people in my business. what do you mean by growing money? Kasi guys, when you invest, if I tell you this, on a layman's term, mag-invest ka ng pera, what's the first question that you will ask me? Enrico, magkano ba ang kita ko dyan? Tama naman, di ba? Magkano kikitain ko dyan? What's the interest rate? Always the question. But, that's a valid question. Nobody's taking that against you. But, okay, the problem is people will always stop asking question right after that. What do you mean by that? Magkano kinita ko? Okay. Tahimik na. People forget the second most important question. Okay, guys, take note of this one. The second most important question, especially when you're talking to your financial professionals or financial advisors or what have you, the second question must be asked. The second question is the most important question. What is going to be my savings? What? Kasi po mga kaibigan, when you ask an investment, you always ask for how much it's going to be earning. Pero it seems that parang mali yung question na, okay, I'm earning, then I'm saving. Yun. I'll be explaining that later on, but I just want you guys to take note of that. The second most important question is, how much am I going to be saving? So let's just talk about the first question first, interest. Okay, so how does money grow? Of course, earning interest over time makes your money grow. I'm not going to talk to you guys today about simple interest and compounding interest yet, but I'm just going to talk to you as basic as how to understand or where to get the interest. Okay, now here goes. How money grows? Of course, again, how money grows is because of what? Interest. Okay, when you look at your screen, fixed rate, ibig sabihin nito, when you put your money into a certain platform, and let's just use the bank, and the bank gives you an interest rate, and they say it's fixed rate, it's gonna be rate from the first day up into the last day. It's fixed. So when you put your money into a checking account, magkano ba interest at that checking account natin? Nakita nyo na ba? Alam nyo, when I was working in a bank, this is true story mga kaibigan, This is true story. When you're a banker, you could see numbers that normally people don't see, okay? So, there's this client asking, how much did my money earn? Can you imagine this, guys? Right? The earnings he had was less than 1 cent. Too small for us to even give them 1 cent. So can you imagine that? May ganong klaseng earning, less than 1 cent, So that's why, oh my God, I don't want to put my money into the bank just to grow it. Anyway, so fixed rate, pag binigyan ka ng 1%, you're blessed if they give you 1% in the bank, right? Anyway, when they give you 1% on a fixed rate, forever na 1% yun. Kaya nga sabi nila fixed. Yun pong ibig sabihin na. You are earning 1% fixed rate forever. Ganun na siya. That's what you call fixed rate. Now, the second one is called variable. Ibig sabihin naman, ito namang variable na to, it is attached to, of course, the market volatility. Ito yung mga stock market, di ba? So mag-up siya, mag-down siya, mag-up siya, mag-down siya, mag-up siya. Ano mangyari susunod? Correct ka dyan, down na naman. So alam na natin, variable yon. Kayo nang sumagot niya mga kaibigan. What goes up can go down. What goes down can go up, and etc. So you guys know, alam natin dito, but we're not gonna be talking about market correction. Hindi natin pag-uusapan yan. Why does the market go up? And then why does the market goes down? It's been going out, going up. It's a bull market right now, and it's going on for the 7 years. I'm gonna put all my money here because it will never go down anymore. Mali yun. It will go down, It's just a matter of what? Timing and understanding where you put your money. So tawag natin yan variable. Pero naman tayo tinatawag na index account. Of course, ang variable is based on the stock market. Ang index account naman is based on indices. Sample lang ito guys, in layman's term lang. Pag may nakita kayong S&P 500, ibig sabihin nito, Standard & Poor 500. Itong company na kasi na to, they measure. Bine-measure nila ang performance ng top 80% capitalist ng Amerika. Siyempre, nandyan na yung Apple, nandyan na yung whatever, nandyan na lahat yung mga company niyan, Amazon, etc. Mini-measure ang kanilang market capitalization performance. Mini-measure nila yan. So, ang index, yun ang tinatawag na index. So, tinitingnan nila doon at doon nila binibase yung inyong interest rate. So, dito naman kasi meron tayong tinatawag sa indices. When the market goes up, it goes up, you're locked. When the market goes down, pwede rin naman kasing hindi bumaba yan, depende on your platform. It can stay there. Tawag dito, may tinatawag silang floor. So it just stays there even the market goes down. When the market goes up, you go to the up of the market, etc. So that's indices or index. So these are the three ways on how to understand. Basic lang naman. We're not going to be talking about very complicated terminology with regard to how your money grows. Basic lang naman siya. Ang ibig lang sabihin nito, yung pera ninyo nag-grow sa interest. And may tatlong bagay po siya, or there are three things that you can measure the interest. It's a fixed rate, it's a variable rate, and an index rate. Ganyan lang po siya. Again, the purpose of this discussion, or the purpose of what I'm talking to you about, is for you to take notes. And after this show, guys, go Google, go to YouTube, talk to your financial advisor. What is indices? What is a variable? And then you learn. And you actually, it can give you more information so you have a good decision, financial decision for your money. Very good. So yan naman ang tinatawag natin, how your money works. Ito naman guys, ito naman yung susunod. Ang tinatawag natin dito, we call this the power of loss. I asked this to some of my, of course, clients. And have you heard of the power of loss? What's the power of loss? That's very important. And this is very important too, guys. Especially yung mga traders, okay, yung mga nasa yung mga nag-i-invest talaga. You have to understand that there's what you call the power of loss. Okay? The power of loss is very simple to understand. Okay? So, when you look at the power of loss idea, if you lose 50% of $100, ang question dito, what rate of return will you need to get it back to 100? Yun ang question. So, if you lose 50% of $100, what rate of return does it need to get you back to the $100? Usually, ang mga sagot ng mga client ko, 50% din? No, actually, it's wrong. You need more. So, look at this visual. So, on the first visual, if you have $100 and you lost 50%, ang natira lang sa'yo, $50. Now, if the market goes back to 50%, you only got 50% of that $50. So it actually is only $75. So it did not go back to 100. So you still lost. So guys, what I want you to understand here, when you lose that 50% to whatever investment that you have, you don't need 50% to get it back to what? To $100. You need 100% to get it back to where it came from. See, that's the power of loss. You have to understand the power of loss. Enrico, I lost my money today 5%. I got it back yesterday 5%. I got back 5% today. You still lost money. That's what it means, If you lose 5%, maybe 7.5%, you need to get it back. Parang ganon. 25% you lost, you need 33%. Parang ganon. To get it back to where it was. So that's what you need to understand, power of loss. We're not even talking about the loss of time. I'm just talking about the loss of the money. So you have to understand this power of loss. Very, very important, guys. Okay? So if you lose 5%, what's the answer? You need to get more to break even. So you have this perfect example. If you lose 50% of your $100, you need to have 100% return to gain it back to break even. Make sense, guys? So again, research more about the power of loss. It's not really a rocket science. You just have to put time in understanding this type of a arsenal, financial arsenal for you. Okay, and you will be great in your finances. So that's the power of loss. Again, impact of taxes. Naku, this is actually the enemy of money, di ba? Sabi ko nga sa mga clients ko, guys, or the people that I consult for. This is what I tell them, If there are termites in your house, wouldn't you want to do something about it? Nako, if you have a brand new house and you found out that there's termites in your house, wouldn't you find exterminators immediately and address the problem? That's the same thing, guys. I know taxes is going to be part of our lives, And there are two things that's so certain to happen in our lives, of course. That's death, and of course, taxes is going to always be there, right? But, not only that we have to accept taxes, we also need to know and understand taxes. I'm not a tax professional, guys. I would always suggest, talk to your financial professionals or your tax consultants. Is Enrico saying the right things? This is just a conversation, guys. You have to have your due diligence anyway. But I'm gonna talk to you guys the impact of taxes. So the impact of taxes for me, there are three ways on how to understand taxes: tax now, tax later, or tax advantage. So tatlo lang yan, pwede natin siya maintindihan. So ang idea ko lang naman dito, the idea here is to help you and me on how to reduce the impact of taxes legally. Of course, we don't want to do something illegal. We always would want to do something right. We have to give what is due to Uncle Sam, as they say, right? So there's three ways on how to understand the impact of taxes. The tax now, of course, you already know this, So you're going to be taxed now for what? For the savings account that you have, certificate of deposits, any income out of that, you will be taxed. That's it. Yun lang yun. Tax later or tax deferred, you can put your money in today and grow for so many years. Guess what? You're not taxed. You will only be taxed the time that you take that money out in the future. So you are deferring tax. Hindi ko nga naiintindihan yung deferred na yun, sinasabi nila. Yung pala, dinidelay mo lang yung pag-charge ng tax sa iyo. Maganda. There's an advantage to that because that's supposed to be tax money. You're using it to grow your money. That's good. That's why they call it a tax deferral. You defer it. Let you pay tax when the time comes. Okay? So we're not going to be talking more about that. But that's the idea. So what are this? Of course, your retirement plan. That falls into the tax later portion. So 401k, IRAs, fixed annuities, So these are your tax later platforms. Okay? So naintindihan na natin. So on tax now, when the money grows today, at the end of the year, you have to what? To pay the taxes. Ganun lang yon. Yung tax later, the money is growing. Wala tayong babayaran tax. Only the time when? Kailan? Pag kukunin na natin siya pagdating ng panahon. Okay? Now, may tinatawag tayong tax advantage. Some people will say tax-free. Enrico, wala naman such thing as tax-free. So let's talk about tax advantage. What are these? These are platforms that you already paid the taxes in the beginning. So when you actually grow it, you're not going to be paying any more taxes. So again, guys, tax implication always falls on the source of the fund, where the funds came from. Okay? We're not gonna talk about qualified funds and non-qualified funds. Wala tayong technical dyan. Basta ang key lang dito that I want you to understand, saan nanggaling ang pera. Ganun lang yan. Kung galing na sa checking account mo, ibig sabihin na tax na yung perang yon. Pag nanggaling yan sa retirement mo, ibig sabihin hindi pa siya na tax. Ganun lang ibig sabihin. No? So tax implication will always be based on where the source of the funds came from. Oo. Saan ba nanggaling yung funds mo? Sa asawa ko. Hindi ka rin yun. Hindi yun. Hindi ka rin ang ibig kong sabihin. Ang ibig kong lang sabihin, what I mean here is where the source of the funds came from. So the tax implication, that's how they will address it. So going back to tax advantage, the money, the source of the funds were already taxed. So whatever growth there will be, it's already tax-free. That's what it means. So now, what are these platforms that has tax advantage? Of course, Roth IRA. Of course, meron tayong tinatawag na mga municipal bonds, mga ganon. Or you can also use the cash accumulation in an insurance life policy. Ito yung tinatawag nating IRC 7702 Cash Value Life Insurance Products. We're not going to be talking about that right now, but those are what you call tax advantage platforms. Okay, so the impact of taxes, when do you want to pay the tax? In the beginning or in the end? Yun lang ang ibig sabihin nito, guys. So, again, do your research. Let's talk about impact of taxes and consult your tax consultants. Ayos ba tayo dyan, mga kaibigan? So, ganyan lang. You know, we have to understand these basics. Again, this is what you call financial literacy. So, napag-usapan na natin ang growth ng money, ang taxes. Ito na naman tayo. Meron na naman tayong istorya. Etong storyang ito, yung the high cost of waiting. Kanina naalala nyo yung saving early story. Now, maganda yung story na yung saving early story. Now, we're gonna talk about the high cost of waiting. Ito naman si what? Si Mr. Wait naman, antay lang ng antay. Ito, this is a very good example, guys, ng we need to learn from this story. Ito lang ang goal lang natin dito. This is a simple goal. Okay? So, kasi ito yun eh. It's either the time, kanina pinag-usapan ng nating interest. Now, we're gonna be putting time as an element of growing your money. Time can be your worst enemy or time can be your greatest ally. It's up to you. But you have to understand why time is actually an ally or why time is actually can be your worst enemy. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, it doesn't matter what age you have right now, guys. It's just a matter of planning, So, there's a lot of ways on how to make sure that we maximize the time. Okay, so now, the goal here, in this example, sa kwento natin ito, the goal here is, we want you to get a retirement plan worth $1 million. Oh, sarap naman nito. Parang isang client ko, guys, meron siyang binentang bahay, about $600,000 and she's living off dividends lang ng $600,000 niya, $60,000 a year forever. That's great, right? Ganun ang ibig sabihin. But of course, you need to what? To get that money first before you even enjoy the distribution phase, ika nga, of our money. Anyway, just going back to the high cost of waiting story, the goal here is for you to have $1 million of retirement. It's not a lot of money, guys. $1 million, sa totoo lang, madaling mawala yan, sa totoo lang, Pero but that's just the goal right now. Let's just get our $1 million of retirement plan. In fact, I have a client na nasa Maryland. Enrico, with all my businesses and money right now, I want to make sure in 10 years, I will have that $1 million of retirement. Okay, did the easy math, give them into the platform. Now we have a plan. But of course, plan is just a plan, and then a plan that is executed is a different story. But a plan executed with discipline, now we're talking, right? So let's go back to the high cost of waiting. Guys, the goal is for you to have what? $1 million retirement, correct. Now, if you are planning to have 40 years of getting that $1 million with an 8% interest, tax deferred, naalala nyo kanina, yung nasa gitna, tax deferred yan, right? So, but we're not going to talk about taxes right now. So, the goal is to give you $1 million retirement, in the next 40 years. You only need to put $286.45 every month. For the next 40 years, you will have that $1 million retirement. That's it. So, if you're 30 years old today, and then you have 40 years to put $284.45, you'll have your $1 million, when you turn 70 years old. But then again, people will say, procrastination, right? The biggest nation is the procrastination. Ito na. Bata pa naman ako. I'm still young, Enrico. I don't want to put, $286.45 every month. I would rather put that in buying a motorcycle or what have you, right? Okay. Then after 5 years, I go back to you and say, hey, Mr. John, let's put that plan into place already. That we need, you have to put that $1 million. You want that $1 million, right? Yeah, I want that $1 million when I retire. So, Enrico, how much am I going to put contributing for me to get that $1 million? Well, because you waited for 5 years, Mr. John, $435.94 every month. Who has $435.94 every month? Today. Well, let's just say you do have. Okay, that's great. Let's start doing this. Enrico, I'm still young, and my wife is gonna get, give birth very, very soon. We will need the money. So whatever reason the guys have, okay, Mr. Don, I'll talk to you 5 years again from now. Okay. So 5 years again, I go back to Mr. John. Hey, Mr. John, I think you're ready to start putting in place your retirement for $1 million when you turn 70. So, okay, Enrico, let's do that. Let's do this. So how much am I going to contribute? $670.98 every month. What? Why is it so expensive? 10 years ago, it was only $286. Now my kids are going to school already. You see what I mean, guys? These are what? Valid reasons, and these are real stories that, it may not just be you. That's what I hear. Probably a friend, etc. Everybody used this. It's not an excuse. Well, whether it's an excuse or not, valid or not, it's still an excuse. But what I'm trying to say here is, you see what cost you because you are delaying, procrastinating, and just waiting for the right time. In fact, guys, we're human beings, beings. We're always waiting for the right time. But the question here is, when's the right time? Okay, 5 years after, because whatever reason that he had 20 years ago or 5 years ago, what have you, and then I come back to Mr. John. Hey, Mr. John, you got 25 years to put this $1 million retirement when you retire. Okay, Enrico, I'm so ready. I think I'm ready right now. So how much am I going to be putting aside to get that $1 million? Oh, $1,051.50. Guys, if this person didn't have that $286 20 years ago, I don't know, 25 years after, you see where I'm heading at? Now, what if you are 60 years old today and you want to retire 5 years from now with $1 million retirement? Guess how much you need to put aside every month to get that $1 million? That's right. $13,609.73 every month for the next 5 years. I mean, every month for the next 5 years. Who has $13,000 every month? Guys, if you don't have $13,000 every month right now to put in the savings, I don't think so that we're going to get that $1 million retirement. That's the high cost of waiting. That's the reason why, guys, we have to understand, that time can be your worst enemy or time can be your greatest ally. Your choice, So that's the story of the high cost of waiting. So mga kaibigan, this is just a basic financial 101 that I would want to share to you guys. We don't get these stories, we don't get these strategies in school. Sadly, that we have to experience the hardship in life first, or we get into a very bad situation to even consider it. That's the reason why we have this personal finance in my toolbox talk show. Just to give you a little bit of what we need to equip ourselves, to support the goals that we have, financial goals that we have. I hope mga kaibigan, you were able to learn something today. So of course, guys, my name again is Enrico. All you have to do is just Google my name, Enrico Pobre. You can find a way on how to get in touch with me, or you can email me, enrico.inmytoolbox@gmail.com. And well, what I can suggest siguro is, make sure every Thursday at 8 p.m. Ayan naman tayo. May plugging na naman si Mr. Enrico. Ayan, every Thursday 8 p.m. Gantong oras din po, Always put that in your calendar so you learn from this show. And thank you so much, PHLV Radio, Mr. Kuya Yo, for putting up this kind of show that will help the community and everyone else, right, guys, for personal finance. Again, this is just a story. This is just a conversation that we're having. And in fact, I'm enjoying your company, guys. Sa susunod na naman po, up until our next topic. It's going to be in the next episode, it's going to be a great topic. Definitely, lagi naman magandang topic yan. But for right now, again, my name is Enrico Pobre. I'm going to see you in the next episode in my toolbox. Magandang gabi, mga kaibigan!